Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you here this morning to this webinar, which is supported by the Royal Borough of Greenwich's Generative Business Support Programme, which is a government-funded programme through the UK Prosperity Fund. What we've got this morning is an introduction to AI, a beginner's guide to AI. And I've got some of my colleagues here with me. The first speaker you will hear is Phil Nash from United Technologies. United Technologies are a partner organization of C&T, and he's going to give you an overview on some developments in phone and other technology, followed by Sybil Mayard, who works for C&T and also runs her own tech company called Sybil Tech. Sybil will give an overview of AI, and then it's followed by Rodo Aureliano, who is the founder of Rocket Van, which is a tech company, and Rodo works on a lot of AI-related projects. So he's going to give you some information about various aspects of this. So we will start the presentation now. This is from 11 or just after 11 till about midday. My name's Gary Parker. I'm the Managing Director of C&T Associates. We are a business support and fundraising organisation that's based in Southeast London, and we work with a wide range of clients and partners, including several local authorities, housing associations, and a wide range of businesses and non-profit making organisations. So over to you, Phil.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for your time. Bear with me, I'm a little new to this type of thing. One of my colleagues would normally do this sort of thing, but I'm excited to learn and to introduce a few things to you. And I'm massively keen on listening to the AI piece. So I just thought this morning I'd just give you a very brief overview of telecoms in the business world, where it is at the minute, where it's come from and where it's going to. And with that, there may well be some interest that we can help you with, advise with, etc., etc. So you probably all have a phone system of some degree. Some of those phone systems will be called what's on premise, which basically means, I suppose, let's call it old school, with BT lines, ISDN lines, all going into the green boxes at the end of the road. That type of technology now is being phased out and or has been phased out already. The switch off from BT is 2025. However, with things, especially with BT, love them or hate them, they delay it and delay it. But in real simple terms, if one hasn't upgraded their phone system into the cloud, you may well know as a VoIP solution, an internet solution, a hosted solution, that really does need to be moved into the cloud, or seriously considering it now. Otherwise, you have no provision for a phone system because those lines are being cut off and are defunct. As I said, many are cut off already. It's not a panic. It's very simple to change. It doesn't take much time. You keep all your phone numbers, etc., etc. So I wanted to make people aware that if they are looking for a new phone system and or they've got an old technology phone system, this could be from 1 user, 2 users, up to 1,000. It really doesn't matter. It's now looked at as the same as your mobile phone or a piece of IT. You know, I need another Microsoft 365 license. What you also need to be aware of is that things like broadband runs on old analog lines, so you will need to change your broadband. So that is quite an important thing, because a lot of people go, we know we need to change the phone system, but we didn't know we needed to change broadband. That could be a PDQ machine as well, alarm lines, lift lines. So it's not a case of, oh my gosh, we're too late, what are we going to do? It's very, very simple to do. But I just wanted to make people aware that if you have not moved to the new technology, you will need to. If you are looking from an embryonic position, as in we're starting out and we need to look at that type of technology, then we can advise you through Gary and the rest of the team of how best to do it at a cost-effective way. What some people like to do is have an audit. That's always a good way of looking at things. So they'll say, well, we don't really know what to do. We obviously spend a load of money, which lots of people do. And you can have an audit that just says, this is what you've currently got. This is what you could have. Invariably, it's less money today than it was yesterday and previous. Moving on from there, again, this particular marketplace is good for everyone in regard that costs are always being driven down and technology improving. As we'll hear from Rodo, moving straight into that eye environment, it's taping certain sort of things that we don't have to have physical kit for, or even if it is in the cloud, it's just taken on to another step. But I'll let Rodo introduce that. So again, mobile phones, business mobile, again, prices are gradually being driven down. You might look at things like Wi-Fi and how fast it is, how active it is. Is it working all around the place? We see lots of clients, and there are lots of clients out there who have lots of different suppliers supplying all this type of thing, and it kind of works. It's okay, Phil, it's all right. But it's not as good as it could be. And the worry for people and clients we see is that we think it's expensive. You're going to need budget, and we can't change it. It's too complicated. It really is very, very simple. So we are here to help and advise anybody who wants more information on that type of thing, would like to look at a cost audit or anything like that. But the main thing is to be very aware, and you probably know already, that once that you need to be in a position of being able to move quite quickly, because a lot of these services will be cut off, and you need to move into the cloud. So that was all I wanted to say today, to be honest with you. I didn't want to bamboozle you with things, but you know what? We all need phones. Businesses need phones. And one thing before I forget, quite common, people will say, oh, we've got mobiles. We just use a mobile. Now that's fantastic, but I suppose the question may well be, we just use a mobile, but is that with the phone system itself, or is it just as an example? Rodo will give you a call back rather than Rodo being able to have a call transferred to him. So we're here to advise at the end of the day. Give some advice if you wish. Reach out to me or Gary, and we can help you on a journey, or help you move from where you currently are to something better, more efficient, with more features and efficiency. That's all, really.
Okay, thank you for that, Phil. Phil, if you put your details in the chat. For anybody who came in late, Phil is from United Technologies, who's a technology partner of ours. We've been working with the United Technology here at CNT for many, many years, and use some of their products. Okay. So Phil will put his details in the chat. There'll be a chance to ask some questions of all the speakers a bit later. So I'd now like to move on to my colleague, Sybil Mayard.
Thank you, Gary. I'll start sharing the presentation. And Gary, if you'd like to introduce yourself, please.
Yes, I'm the Managing Director of CNT Associates. The company's been around for over 20 years. This is our 22nd year in existence. I've been the Managing Director for about 10 years, and we provide a wide range of business support, fundraising services, bid writing for businesses, and digital services in conjunction with our technology partners, several of you you're seeing here today. So thank you for that, Sybil, and please continue.
And Rodo, our main speaker, if you would like to introduce yourself too.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm Rodo Relana. I'm Head of Design and Innovation at Rocketvan. So we are a tech company. We are creating web and mobile applications and introducing AI in it. We are also consulting, developing, and design for SMEs. And yeah, we're very excited to take you to the AI journey.
Thank you, Rodo. And finally, myself, my name is Sybil, and I've been working with C&T Associates for around the past 5 years on various projects. My background is in website design, so I design and build websites for small businesses. And since beginning to do that, I've worked with a range of small businesses from a variety of different industry sectors. So I'm going to introduce the presentation today. So here is a brief outline of what we'll be covering: introduction to AI, or artificial intelligence, everyday and potential uses of AI, generative AI landscape, generative AI for small businesses. We'll be looking at some demos, tips for starting to use generative AI, things to be aware of when using it. Then we'll have time for questions and answers, and our contact information will be at the end. So let's begin. AI has revolutionized the way we do business, and thanks to AI tools, we can streamline processes and run our businesses faster and more efficiently than ever before. So in this webinar, we're going to cover the basics of AI and some tools you can implement right away in your business's everyday activities. First of all, we'll begin with a definition of AI. And here on the screen, we have AI is the ability of a machine to display human-like capabilities, such as reasoning, learning, planning, and creativity. Future applications are expected to bring about enormous changes, but AI is already present in our everyday lives. So I think pretty much all of us have come across AI in some shape or form, even if we may not be aware of it. AI technologies have a wide range of applications, and the integration of AI into software and hardware is becoming increasingly common. So on this slide, we have a list of a few uses of AI that you may have already experienced. So there's online shopping and advertising, web search. So it's becoming increasingly common when you type in a query into Google, and at the top, instead of having a link to a website, you will have an AI overview. There's chatbots, digital personal assistants, machine translations, smart homes, cities and infrastructure, cars, especially autonomous or self-driving cars, cybersecurity, and fighting forms of disinformation, for example, fake news. And on the right, we have an illustration showing some further uses, including optimizing products and sales paths, particularly relevant to businesses, Internet of Things. So these are everyday appliances you have in your home, which are powered by AI and connected to the internet, like web-connected vacuum cleaners, refrigerators, watches, etc. Robotics used in factories, smart farming applications, and so on. So as you can see, AI is used in an extremely wide range of applications. So I'm now going to pass over to Rodo, who will do the main part of this presentation. He will talk about what is AI exactly, generative AI, and some uses of it. So over to you, Rodo.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Sybil. Can you see my screen? I'm not
I
sure.
can see it.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sybil. Great presentation and introduction about AI. I want to just get less technical. I'm not going to get very into technical. I'm aware that is not the purpose today, but I want to give a bit of a more deep understanding of what AI means. AI is, as you can see in that diagram, it has a lot of layers, and we're gonna just go through very quick and go and concentrate in the most important ones that they are meaningful for small businesses and sole traders. AI is the big umbrella that includes everything that you see here. So machine learning, natural networks, deep learning, generative AI, and large language models. Obviously, from machine learning, neural networks and deep learning is very more for geeks like ourselves. So it's more about people that are coding and getting hands-on. In a not very simple way to describe machine learning is how computers learn from data. So we're throwing a lot of data, meaningful data, structure and data, and they can recognize this data and learn from it. Think about, for instance, learning patterns in certain ways. Neural networks and deep learning is more advanced way of how computers they learn, and specifically for dedicated tasks. Is a technique that those two techniques that are inspired by how our brains work. So we have layers of neurons. So computer science, they get inspired and they're trying to mimic those processes. Neural networks think like image recognition, like how a child, for instance, is learning the difference between a dog and a cat. So you can teach a computer to do that. And deep learning is more advanced, as the example that Sybil said earlier about the autonomous driving, for instance. They need to learn from different perspectives, different data sets, points, and cameras, and so on. What we're going to focus today is the generative AI, because it's the part that it gives the power to a user that is not technical, it doesn't have a technical background, because we can access to several sets of tools that they allow us. And this is possible because we created the large language models. That is basically how AI understand the words that we setting up on those chat spots. Just gonna go. So basically, to summarize, AI is the big thing. So it's like an assistant that helps you make decisions or automated tasks. And generative AI is like a creative partner that helps you write, design, or brainstorm ideas. We're gonna have a look on how it looks. Generative AI today. This is a diagram that classifies a bit the tools that we have access today. Is huge. You have tools that are very specific for different aspects of what you were intended to do. And those, as I mentioned earlier, is like having assistants that with specific knowledge. Whether you want to create text, whether you need to have a conversational board for your business, or attend some customers on your e-commerce, for instance. You can create videos from just typing in a chatbot. You can also create sounds, so you can have your own tunes for your videos. You can design anything, creating new images. It's very impressive. Also, in terms of operational, you can record and summarize your calls with your clients, your providers, and get notes from it in a very, very precise way. We're not gonna go through every single one. I want to focus on the main key areas that small business today could leverage. And basically the four main key areas are marketing, customer service, operations, and sales. That's every one of us we need to go through. and they are very important for us, and is where generative AI and those tools, they will dramatically help us. In terms of marketing, you can generate personalized campaigns or even social media posts using, for instance, Canva. We're gonna go in a few minutes from some very quick examples. You could create rapidly a leaflet, for instance, for one of the promoting one of your services, or even you ask ChatGPT to help you to create new blog posts or generating ideas for topics to talk about, or even write emails. In terms of customer service, for instance, you get a lot of questions from customers. A chatbot will handle them without the need to be someone there for the main ones. For instance, in terms of operations, it's very interesting because AI can care about repetitive tasks, invoicing, scheduling, even managing, for instance, or simply helping you for creating proposals, writing contracts. That's very helpful. We'll see also a little example of analyzing one of the contracts later on. And in sales, it's impressive how can create a strategy, a sales strategy, when you explain what kind of business you have and gives you ideas. And also it helps for researching potential new clients or general leads. If you want to, you need to sell, or you sell products online, whether it's physical or digital, you can ask to create the descriptions, enhancing SEO, and so on and so forth. So I think it's very important to have to understand how far those tools they can take you. Today we're going to explore. From my understanding, I think those are very basic. Most of them, they have free version of them. Some of they have also premium that gives you a bit of more options. We'll go also and try DeepSeek. That is a bit controversial. I don't know if you've been seeing recently on the media. And why is this? I will just explain you very quick, and we'll get in there. So it's demo time. Let me see how. I'm just gonna show my screen if it's okay, and then I'm gonna share my screen. Loop. Amazing. So we're gonna start. We're gonna start by a simple task that it would be, for instance, analyzing a contract. This is ChatGPT. This is one of the interfaces that you can use. It's free to use. They have a premium and free versions of it. You can ask them to analyze, for instance, in that case, we can analyze a contract that is for an internship program company. They just suggest to us. So, for instance, I want to analyze this PDF. It's a PDF that they're summarizing a bit the clauses and everything, and they're asking me to sign. I want just to get a sense of what is in it and what is the pros and cons. So I will ask ChatGPT to analyze this document, for instance. So what this document is about. Oh, obviously, yeah. About summarize it and give pros and cons. So actually, ChatGPT is using machine learning basically on the background. I don't have to write any line of code. It's analyzing this document and giving me a summarizing what is this is about key points. So it's an organizational responsibilities about how if I signing this contract, how both parties we're gonna deal with an internship placements and all the responsibilities, pros and cons, very clear and explain in a plain way. This is one of the options that you can use analyzing, and I can, for instance, to ask ChatGPT to rewrite the contract, adding a clause, that will pay the intern in let's say in performance results. For instance, this it doesn't, sorry, it doesn't exist in that contract. So oh, okay. So basically it will be writing the same a contract and adding this clause that it wasn't there. So imagine that you receive a contract and you don't agree, or you discuss with the other party and you want to add a new clause. This will automatically do it for you. So then you could share this with your other party and sign both parts and so on. So it's very powerful. This is one of the cases that we can see. Let's get a new case study. So let's say we are a a community center, and we have an event coming up. I already wrote this a prompt. A prompt is the instructions you give to any generative AI. So basically, a prompt is kind of your wish list. It's very important to have a specific, be as specific as much as you can. So giving them framing a bit your order. So telling them what you expected to do, and the don'ts you want to tell to do or not to do. Basically, the basic structure from a prompt is giving you a role. So this is the role. You're a social media and marketing expert. And the instruction, I need this from you. If you need to add some examples or some data, you say, here's the details that I want you to write. And then some limitations. So make sure, because in that instance, is like, make sure that you write in British English and avoid passive tense. Why this? Because most of those tools are based in America, or they are based on American English. So if, for instance, you want to write something that has a British English tone, so you can write. So let's just get this into this and basically paste here, and we'll read these instructions and we'll start writing. I asked for 2 options, so it will be writing a post, a leaflet for different ones. So we can have 2 options, and then we can tweak or asking to tweak or something like that. But this will be more or less the content. Then I can ask to create a design for it. And it will create a design for the event. We're gonna just wait for it. This is an example, for instance. So we can have a sense that how it will look like. Then you can dig in, and he's asking us, do you want to do any modifications? So we can iterate. Unfortunately, we don't have time, but it will give you an example of how it looks like. I had to say that ChatGPT uses DALL-E 3, that is one of the image generation, and sometimes is not, as you can see, is not crisp. It's not crisp as we expected, but it gives you a bit of a sense. Now we're gonna work in reverse engineering. So we have already a leaflet that I can show you here for this particular promoting well-being and for this community center, for instance. This is a real example. And what we need to do is, I have the leaflet, but I need to create a blog post or social media post. So I just simply create a blog post from the leaflet's content and a social media post, because it might be different. A blog post might be longer and social media. So simply it's gonna read, is an image, so it has no content, so it needs to use computer vision to understand what is in it and creating a blog post, for instance. And it will do that. So we have the blog post here, all the information, the schedule, and how to contact, and then creating the social media post. It's creating this. And this we will be using this for creating the post. Those are the main examples that we have today using ChatGPT. We can use similarly DeepSeek. Getting into the controversial, this is a kind of another version of a ChatGPT. It's free to use so far, and is from a company that is based in China. So there are lots of concerns in the media about where is my data going and everything. Well, this is free to use. It does mainly similar features than ChatGPT. Less advanced. It doesn't generate images, for instance, but it generates text. So for analyzing text or analyzing images, it does work. We have Gemini from Google. Is similar thing. So you can create your images. I think the free version doesn't do it at the moment, but that will be in the near future. Just gonna stop sharing. And I'm back to, okay, so yeah, so we've seen a fairly very simple examples. There are lots of more, way more. Obviously, if you are into the coding and everything, the possibilities are huge. That's what we're doing, integration for different websites and mobile apps. But some tips for small businesses and sole traders to get into, if you are not already, is start small. It's very important. Don't try to get in all the aspects covered by AI from all the your business aspects in one go. Is very difficult. Start picking one of the repetitive tasks that you have and it's time consuming, and see if AI can help. If you find a tool that it does for you, and start using it, like writing emails or analyzing documents, for instance. ChatGPT is very versatile, and even the free one it will give you a good results. Experiment with the free tools. So try different ones. Canva is using also AI. If not, it has lots of templates. For instance, Canva is one for creating visuals, for instance, or some of the what do you call it? Those note takers for your calls, summarizing, and so on. Stay informed. AI is evolving. Even ourselves, it's difficult to catch. It's huge. It's happening every day. You can see companies disrupting here and there. So, and tools coming in that they are very specific for different industries or for different tasks. So it's important to follow some podcast, newsletters, or some YouTube influencers. And obviously be ethical. It's important to inform if you're interacting with your customers in terms of the chatbot, that telling them, that you're using AI when you have a meeting and you're recording and extracting information, also being sure and using the right information and respecting privacy and the rights of the content they use. And this is one of the challenges for you. So if you are not done already, just pick one AI tool and give it a try. You could use ChatGPT to write a social media post, or Canva to design a flyer. Make sure that you take your first step, and you'll be surprised, how much time you're gonna save. That's all from me. So I pass to Sybil. If you have any questions, I will answer them at the end of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Rodo. A very insightful presentation. So I'm just going to go back to sharing my slides. Okay, so we've seen some of the amazing things that AI is capable of doing. But there are a few things that we need to bear in mind when using AI, and especially generative AI. So here are a few considerations to minimize the risk when you're using one of these tools. So the first one is accuracy and misinformation. So misinformation is a term that means providing incorrect information unintentionally. Now, generative AI tools are capable of producing content that appears to be very feasible, but may not be factually correct. So you must cross-reference the content generated with other reputable sources, so other trustworthy websites or publications, for example, and verify the accuracy of any important details. There are bias and ethical considerations. So AI models are trained on human-created data, which can include biases. So, for example, one famous case was the Amazon AI recruitment tool. So this happened a few years ago, where Amazon created an algorithm which was favoring applications from male candidates over female ones. And in the end, the project had to be abandoned because it just wasn't usable. So when you're generating content using AI tools, again, make sure to check the data, because there's a chance that it may include these types of biases. Privacy and security risks. Now, this is a big topic at the moment, especially with many data breaches occurring and people becoming more concerned about the use of their data. So when using a generative AI tool, you must never enter any personal or sensitive data. So this is information about yourself individually that may be able to identify you. And don't enter any confidential company information. So this can be things like financial information, intellectual property, maybe information about a new product that hasn't been launched yet, into a tool, AI tool. Because any data that you enter into generative AI tool can be used to train the model, and you never know exactly where your information will end up going. Always read the privacy notice to check where the data is being stored. And we mentioned briefly about DeepSeek being a Chinese technology. If you look at their privacy notice, they state that the data is actually stored on servers which are physically located in China. Now, technically, any company that processes the data of UK or EU individuals should be subject to the GDPR. But we don't know exactly for sure whether DeepSeek is fully complying with this regulation. So I'm not saying not to use DeepSeek, but is this something to be aware of? So when you're using any AI tool, always look at the privacy notice and just be aware that your data may be stored in a country which is outside of the UK. So next is plagiarism and copyright issues. So AI tools are trained on content which comes from the internet, and they can reproduce large portions of this text when it's creating new content. So there is a chance that you may get into legal issues if you are using someone else's content, even if it's unintentionally. So a good idea is to use a plagiarism checker to verify the originality of the content. And there's many of these tools available online. Good example of this is Copyscape. Finally, there are training and data limitations. So AI tools may only have access to information until a particular cutoff date, unless it has access to websites. For example, ChatGPT's knowledge is based on data up to June 2024. However, I think there is a capability for ChatGPT to now access latest information on the internet by connecting to websites. But bear in mind that there still could be that limitation. And the main thing here really is to remember that AI cannot replace human interaction, at least not yet. But whenever you're using content that comes from a generative AI tool, always be aware that there are limitations. There could be inaccuracies, biases, copyright issues, etc. So we mentioned some of the uses of ChatGPT for writing blog articles or social media content, for example. So the best thing to do is not to just simply copy and paste the content directly from the tool, but always read through the content and make some edits. Another thing is the content that comes with these tools can sound a bit robotic and unnatural sometimes. So editing the content can help it to give it a more human-like feel as well. Okay, so we have finished the main part of this presentation, and we are now open to taking any questions. So please either put your question into the chat facility or speak out loud, and we'll be happy to address your questions. Whilst you're doing that, I will also put our contact information on the screen as well.
Okay. we're just waiting for some questions now. So I'll start off with one to Rodo and indeed Sybil as well. What is the one thing that you advise people to take away from today's presentation? If there's one thing you could highlight or focus on, what would that be?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think it's I think that as I put on the challenge, try is very important. AI is not gonna go away. It's not gonna replace human interaction. That's 100%. Because we still making business through people. That's one of the things. But other parts, that repetitive tasks that are a bit burden on everyday's flows for any business, it can be replaced. So why not? And just focus on what is important. So try those that they fit on your business, and it will help you to move on, because if you're not doing, your competitors will do, and therefore they will be more efficient and then more competitive. So I think it's start embracing. If you're already doing it, it's great, but see what is meaningful, and not only introducing AI for the sake of AI. Tech is always there. We have blockchain, we have Web3, but they have a meaningful ways to be implemented. So it's important to understand them, and don't be afraid. Just trying, and there are lots of ways of using it. But yeah, the most important message today is just let's try, let's get hands-on and try to implement it in your businesses. Yeah.
Okay, before I move on to Sybil, we've had two questions. One is from Edwin saying, can you share the presentation? This will be on our YouTube channel within a week or so. The details of our YouTube channel are in the chat, or you can go on to YouTube and just look for C&T Associates, and it will come up. So it will be there, so people will get access to this. I've got a question from Celia as well. Are you able to suggest an AI tool that can be used in healthcare for taking notes, dictating letters, etc.? Rhoda, we'll put that one to you.
Yeah, you have different ones. I need to understand a bit more what is the meaning of taking notes. Is this for patients? And for instance, if they have one of the ones we didn't have time today, but is Fathom or Otter.ai. You can take notes or getting a recording and uploading them. So obviously they guarantee you the privacy on that. You don't have to reveal any personal details, but all the text, if you're taking notes, it will be transcribed, and then you can work from it, like writing a letter from this conversation you had with your patient. I don't know if it's this is the case, but you can do that. So it's Otter.ai or Fathom. I can write it on the.
Yeah, if you could put that in the chat, Rhoda. Yes, Celia is a doctor, so obviously Celia could speak for herself, but I presume it's for patient notes.
Yeah,
things similar.
Yeah. Let me just get this. Fathom.
Okay, while Rhoda's doing that, Sybil, have you got an answer to the question I asked?
Yeah, I think I just want to echo Rhoda's earlier point about trying out different tools, but at the same time, not being overwhelmed by them, because there are just so many uses of AI nowadays. It's everywhere. And as we saw in an earlier slide, the kind of pie chart with the range of tools available, there are just so many options. So I would agree with using a few of these tools. Just pick a small range of tools which you think will be the most beneficial to your business, and getting to know those tools really well rather than going from one to another and another, because yeah, there's just too many options. Yeah, so pick a few, get to know them really well, experiment, try out different things, and just explore their capabilities. And the main thing also is to always keep learning. So keep up to date with how the tools are evolving and the new capabilities are being added to them all the time, so that you're not missing out on any new features and capabilities.
Okay. I'm just waiting for any other questions that people have got. As I said earlier, the CNT Associates YouTube channel has many of our presentations on that. So the details are in the chat. And we will be able to deal with any questions after this presentation. Sorry, Celia's come back. She's saying, sorry, IT issues. Mr. Rodo's advice. He's just given two links for healthcare related technology. One is Otter, OTTER .ai, or Fathom Video. That is in the chat though, Celia.
Yeah, those are platforms that they can record, help you to record those conversations, or you have the audio and will transcribe, analyze this text, and from there you can do a lot of things. Obviously, you need to read, as Sybil said earlier, read the terms and conditions where they're stored and everything. Obviously, they claiming that they are, privacy first, but if you have a lot, those are the most affordable ways to keep your data safe. But if you really need to get into privacy, that's what we implementing to other companies. We running a private version of those tools on their computers or their servers. So there's another a way of to do that, but you can't run your own AI model in your computer. This would be another session, but you can do it even small models and having your own personal ChatGPT with different versions are running on it, but it will do exactly the same, but your information stays on your computer. That is possible.
Yeah.
But those tools that we're using today, they are cloud-based, so you don't rely on your computer to crunch data, basically.
Right. What we've tended to do here at CNT, I'll give you some more practical examples following on from the ones that Rhoda had given. We write a lot of reports here, so we don't try and lift report content off ChatGPT, but what we're always looking for is frameworks. For example, I did one a while back on an evaluation framework for a project. And then, as Sybil said, I edited some of it, I reviewed it, and we used certain aspects of it, and the others weren't relevant anyway. But that saved a lot of time. I estimated, looking for a similar framework and developing the content for that would normally take about 2 days, and we managed to halve it to 1 day. The other thing we've used it for is for pricing text, in fundraising, bid writing. It's all word limited now, so if you've got 1,000 words of text, we're often asking ChatGPT to summarize it in 500 words, but keeping the main points. So those are the kind of simple things that you can do using ChatGPT and DeepSeek as well, which will save you a lot of time. You know, there's others I could highlight, but we're trying not to be too techie today, because this is focusing on the first steps, as you will. Okay, I'm just can't see any more questions. So I'll hand Sybil, did you want to say anything more? And then we'll hand back to Rodo to finish.
Yeah, I actually had a question for Rodo. So we saw earlier in ChatGPT that I think it's great for creating textual content, but it doesn't work so well when creating imagery, as we saw. Which tool would you suggest as the best one for creating, say, a leaflet or a social media graphic, for example?
I would use Canva. Canva has also free to use tier. Then if you want to have more features, but it has lots of templates, very easy. You can ask the chat, I want to create this, and I will suggest some already pre-made designs. And if you have, I think the premium one, you can generate images. So for instance, on a flyer, they're suggesting an image on the background, and you want it's showing a mountains, you want seaside, so you can generate the seaside and just pasting there.
What was that called again, Rodo?
Canva. I can put it on the chat if you want.
Sure.
So it's canva.com. I put it on the chat. What is it? Yeah, this is very easy. ChatGPT has generating. I'm using for my LinkedIn posts, and you need to dig in and iterating until you have something. You want a photography, quality. Is better to use Midjourney. This is another AI, very specific for images. Think as ChatGPT as the Swiss knife. So it works for lots of aspects and it's very versatile. We didn't dig into the creating your own GPT, so you can create kind of a version of a ChatGPT on your own, and you can through your own data and just talking about one only subject. For us, for instance, it's for coding or for marketing and helping you out on this, and you can upload your own content and you work from it. Again, this is a bit more advanced. Also for researching and creating tasks. So you could use ChatGPT to scroll across some websites and extract the information that is published every here and there and give you a summarize. For instance, if you want to be on updated for certain topics, you can say, okay, visit this website every week and summarize these posts. You could do that. It's possible. But yeah, I can add also the Midjourney if you are more into.
Yes, if you could add that, please, Rodo.
Yeah.
While you're doing that, I've got a very quick question for you because we've gone past 12 now, but I'm sure people will agree it's been very interesting. I work on a lot of partnership projects with organizations, and that can be very time consuming, emailing lots of people, etc., etc. Is there any platforms or any AI tools you might suggest for working in partnership collaboration? And to increase the time that can be to decrease the time that can be spent on that by using AI tools.
Yeah, that's we need to understand a bit more the workflow you want to reproduce. There are platforms like HubSpot is more for is a CRM, so it's a customer relationship management system. So, but you can include your providers or your and it has a lot of automated tools there. But then you can have Zapier. It does a lot of automations, so it can read, for instance, you can set it up. You can have a set it up that it reads your emails, and depending on what is the content, it will pre-produce kind of an answer for that because it's always the same, for instance, or suggest some answers, so you can you can deal with this. So we need to understand a bit more the processes you want to reproduce, but there are tools out there. If not, you can use a third party, but you need to assemble them and creating kind of workflow. What happens if I receive this email? Shall I just send, for instance, a PDF because it's always the same? Okay, this is our, program. This you can check and everything. That could be automated as well, because we understand, because again, using the language models, AI understands what we try, what is our intention, what is the text, what is the demand in that text. So then you can create kind of automations, or okay, if this happens, just send them the right information, or our schedule linking to our Google Calendar, for instance, to set a online meeting. You can do a lot of things, but yeah, HubSpot is one of them. Then you have Zapier that has a lot of options in it. Make as well is another one, but yeah, it integrates a lot of tools. But unfortunately, it is not one that does everything as you wish. Sometimes you need to create your own workflow, or using those third parties. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We're going to close shortly, but Sybil, is there anything else you'd like to say while you're here?
No, I don't think I have anything to add. We've covered a lot today.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us today. Here at CNT, we're always looking for new topics for webinars or online discussions. So obviously ANI is a new thing, and we've had a lot of people attend today. Just to reiterate, this was supported by the Royal Borough of Greenwich's Generative Business program. And it will go onto our YouTube channel. The details are in the chat. CNT Associates 8714. It's quite easy to remember. So this will be on there in a week or so's time. And there's another 50 presentations we've got on there as well, covering a wide range of topics. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. If there's any other aspects of AI you think might make a good presentation or webinar, we'd like to hear from you, because obviously this is a big area, and what we've tried to do on this one is to simplify it as much as we can and to demystify it, because at the end of the day, the technology tools are meant to be utilized. So if there's any aspects of this you might think we could cover in another direction, then we're very interested in that, and I'll consult my colleagues here to try and help us on that. So please, info@cntassociates.com. Again, I put those details in the chat, and I'd like to thank all our speakers today. I'd like to thank Phil from United Technologies. Phil, is there anything you want to add while...
No, we're all good. Keep it simple. Very interesting. Really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'd like to thank Rodo in particular, and also my colleague Sybil Mayard for her usual efficient work on this. So thank you for everybody for joining us today. As I say, this will be on our YouTube channel in about a week's time. If you want to contact us for anything related to this, all our speakers' contact details are in the chat right now, so copy that. And we will be with you again soon. We've got various webinars coming up, including one on sport in April, and one on one of our most popular presentations, which is how to write a funding application. That's very good for insomnia or watching during the middle of the night if you want to go to sleep, but it is essential. Thousands of people have watched that, actually. I don't know why, but anyway, so I'd like to thank you all for being here today, and we'll see you all again soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. See you, everyone. Take care.